Valpo's FSL Awards took place this week.
We also have an update on the status of Shield Hall and its future.
Spotty showers and thunderstorms will continue to impact your evening. I'll have more later.
We have that and more. This edition of 15 News at 5 starts right now. More. This edition of 15 News at 5.
15 News at 5.
15 News at 5. 15 News at 5 starts right now.
Thank you for joining us this evening on 15 News at 5. I'm Keaton Lewis.
And I'm Daniel Murphy.
Last night, Fraternity and Sorority Life had their yearly award ceremony in the ballroom in the Har Union. Many different awards were given out. A huge shout out to Sigma Lambda Gamma for receiving Sorority of the Year, and Sigma Phi Epsilon for receiving Fraternity of the Year. Kappa Delta and Lambda Chi Alpha received the Outstanding Community Service Award, as well as Gamma Phi Beta's Maya de Gracias won Sorority Woman of the Year, and Phi Kappa Phi's Nathan Janke as Fraternity Man of the Year. The list of awards continues to go on. Pictures and awards are posted on the Valpo Fraternity and Sorority Life Instagram at Valpo-FSL. We want to congratulate all on their awards and achievements this year.
The results of the Student Senate election for the 2024-2025 academic year were finally announced on Wednesday of last week. An email containing the results were sent out to students and faculty all across campus informing them of who will run for Senate in the upcoming school year. Corey McClure was elected as the student body president, and Brett Wedelman will be running as the vice president. The fourth-year senators are Olivia Holtz, Drew Attinger, Jacob Mack, and Zoe Martinez. The third-year senators are Lysandra Bahenia, Riley Brime, and Sage Doobie. The second-year senators are Bree Morrison, Cody Turner, Helen Stegner, and Lily Swartz. The at-large senators are Elias Lopez, Andrea Hernandez, Elena Creek, Pablo Ostros, Sateli Almares, and Preston Schutz. And finally, the commuter senators are Bella Rodriguez and Alyssa Supernat. Congratulations to all the upcoming senators elected for the next school year.
VUTV's Rachel Painter collected the latest information on the next steps for the Freshman Village project here on campus.
Lincoln and Shield Hall are two prominent dorms on campus. Shield Hall to current students is known as the dorm that has been abandoned, while Lincoln Hall is known as the one that many students have spent their freshman year in. However, that's all about to change. For the first time in its long history, Lincoln Hall is going to be taken offline this coming fall. The future is currently uncertain. However, there is a deeper connection that these two buildings share than what meets the eye. The connection of Lincoln and Shield Hall is very prominent on the outside. There's a building connecting the two of them that is not currently accessible to students. However, that connection goes even deeper into the basement. Carolyn Whittier details more.
I know is when the sororities moved out in 2016, there was a conversation about the renovation. In order to renovate Shield, we would also have needed to take in Lankenau offline because the electric and the water and the HVAC are all connected.
Yeah, cosmetically, you could certainly update each independently, but the infrastructure or utilities and HVAC are one common location in the basement where it comes together for the two facilities. So to upgrade that, you would be taking down service from both, yes.
We did not have enough bed space on campus for basically from 2016 till kind of now to be able to take, last year to take a full building offline because the freshman class needed those bed spaces. So it was determined at that time that we would leave Shield Hall empty. And then we would continue to use Lankenau Hall. There were some additional cosmetic renovations done in Lankenau Hall in order to keep being responsive to the needs that those students had. But then at this point in time, nothing could be done with Shield Hall because it needed to be like to the systems of the building, and the two buildings are connected.
There are currently no plans in place to renovate Shield or Lankenau Hall. However, plans still remain in place to renovate Brant and Warrenburg Hall. This is a part of the university's initiative called Freshman Village. Jason Kutch gives more information on why Wurmberg and Brant were chosen to be taken offline this past fall instead of Lincoln Hall.
Well, we were pursuing a project in Brant. There's certainly been some resistance, as that's been very public of how we're funding that project and such, and that's been out there, and so that has delayed it. We have a plan going forward that is gonna switch that going forward in this fall, and have Brant back online this fall.
Lincoln Hall is not the only building to be taken offline this coming fall. Meyer Hall and the Linwood House are also set to be taken offline. The future of these buildings are uncertain. However, in an email that faculty got with an update from FM, it stated that these buildings would be taken offline and potentially demolished. This is to help reduce the footprint the university has and reduce the amount of square footage that the university has in its buildings in total. For VUTV 15, I'm Rachel Painter.
We have Kolton Woods on the weather wall today with us. So Kolton, what's the weather looking like for the rest of the week?
Weekend looks pretty nice, but we have to get some showers and storms this evening. Right now, the live look shows some dry weather over here, but there was a storm that just passed through Valpo not that long ago, and it's pushing off to the northeast, currently impacting Michigan City and LaPorte. You can see that on the current radar. That's a storm that just went through Valpo that brought us some gusty winds and also some pretty heavy rain. That is moving into extreme southwest lower Michigan right now, though. In the meantime, we'll be dry for at least a few more hours, expanding the view. You can see we don't really have any storms immediately to our southwest, but there are some storms in Missouri and far western Illinois that should make a beeline right toward Valpo, especially around 10 to 11 p.m. Current temperatures right now, we're sitting at 68 here in Valpo. We cooled quite a bit due to the rain showers moving through. And Knox, they didn't get any rain or Rensselaer, so they're still pretty warm, close to 80 degrees in those areas, but further to the northwest, northwest suburbs of Chicago, they're also cooler as they also dealt with some rain. Back to you guys.
You know, I mean, I'm excited about this warm weather. How about you?
Yeah, I'm excited too, but you know, it's just gonna be spent studying for finals and that, so gonna have to study outside for some of that for sure.
Yeah. I was looking outside before the news show, and there was like wind just blowing everywhere. It was
Yeah.
crazy.
No, but it's so nice out.
Thanks, Colton. Coming up, we'll take a look at your Valpo sports.
But first, we have some tips on how to ease anxiety this upcoming finals week.
Millions of U.S. children are living with anxiety, and this time in the school year can be a bit overwhelming with tests, quizzes, and exams. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has tips from a licensed therapist on how to help students overcome this anxiety.
As the school year starts to wind down, the stressors may begin to pile up.
You have final exams and standardized tests, big projects, just a lot of things coming to a close.
Licensed therapist Jody Baumstein with Children's Healthcare of Atlanta's Strong for Life program says anxiety in children can lead to symptoms like stomach aches, headaches, irritability. It can push a child to procrastinate, withdraw, or isolate themselves to focus on school and the pressure they feel.
So it's just important to really pay attention to some of these behavioral signs that they might be struggling with some anxiety, but don't necessarily have the words to name it.
Baumstein says parents can help ease anxiety, offer to watch your child practice a presentation, carve out free time to give them a break from studying, ask open-ended questions to monitor how they're doing, and listen.
We want to just acknowledge and validate, yes, it makes sense to me if you're feeling nervous. I get that. That immediately puts their mind at ease because they see that there's nothing wrong with them for feeling that way.
Baumstein says these skills can build resilience and stay with students through adulthood.
It might be a test, a quiz, a presentation now, but it's going to be something else when they're older.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Baumstein says healthy practices like prioritizing good quality sleep, balanced nutrition, physical activity, and reduced screen time can also help set a child up for success.
Beulah citizens are hosting a special fishing tournament for kids with disabilities But there's a wrench in their plan. Elizabeth Shores tells us.
Jeff Frank has a daughter who's nonverbal. That, combined with her wheelchair, tends to exclude her from quite a few activities.
Even talking with other people that have children with disabilities, you start comparing your life to their life, and I would give anything for Nora to have what someone else has.
Frank says he heard about the new Wheelchairs and Walleyes fishing tournament through Facebook. Tournament director Jeff Goss and his wife Jennifer started planning it a few months ago. He says he wants it to be a festival tailored to these children's specific needs.
Luckily, we've been fortunate to have a lot of people reach out and say, how can we help?
But they've run into a snag. The major event at the tournament involves the children going fishing with professional fishermen out onto Lake Sakakawea. Goss says in order for the kids to get onto the boats safely, they'll need to have them board the boats on land and then drive down to the lake. The original plan was to install a permanent concrete ADA-compliant ramp, but the contractors Goss had originally secured dropped the project. He hasn't found another company willing to make the ramp yet.
We will make it happen. If I have to get a crane out there myself and do it myself, it will happen. I really want people to get involved, start thinking about these things, because let's face it, the only people who are going to help is us. That's it. It's community driven, period.
Goss says there are only 2 ADA-compliant ramps with wheelchair lifting abilities on the lake. Families who want to use those would have to drive 4 hours. He estimates the project will cost tens of thousands of dollars. In Beulah, I'm Elizabeth Shores reporting for your news leader.
The Gosses say there are 5 children signed up for the tournament. They have 15 spots available. The festival and fishing event will take place on July 25th and is free. You can volunteer or donate through Dakota Walleye Classics website. Jeff Goss says they have about 10 days left to turn their ramp plans into the Army Corps of Engineers.
It's almost Mario time. Universal's new Orlando theme park, Universal Epic Universe, is set to open next year with Super Nintendo World. It will include Super Mario Land and Donkey Kong Country. Super Mario Land will feature 2 rides, a real-life Mario Kart game with a mix of physical sets, projection mapping, and augmented reality. There's also Yoshi Adventure, where guests travel through Mushroom Kingdom landscapes in search of glowing eggs. That area of the park has themed foods, including Toadstool Cafe, Yoshi Snack Island, and Turbo Boost treats, as well as meet and greets with Mario, Luigi, Princess Peach, and Toad. Meanwhile, Donkey Kong Country will feature a roller coaster called Minecart Madness.
Coming out after the break, Kolton Woods will have your full forecast.
After that, we'll take a look at this past week's Speak in Sports.
Taking a live look across Valpo, looking toward the northeast, there was a storm that passed through the area not too long ago, about 30 minutes ago. That is now impacting Michigan City, though, so we're dry as of now. But we are expecting some thunderstorms to impact the region tonight. They aren't expected to be severe, but they could definitely bring some heavy rain and also a little bit gusty of a wind. Rain showers are expected to last into the morning hours, but thankfully those will be out and clearing out of the region by the afternoon. And we do have a very pleasant weekend in store with temperatures around 70 with lots of sunshine. Currently, though, we are sitting at 68 degrees, and I wouldn't say it's mostly sunny right now. It's probably mostly cloudy with a light wind coming out of the north as well. Right now, temperatures, like I said, 68 here in Valpo, but a little bit warmer off to the west where they're not seeing storms as of now, and a lot cooler off to the southwest as they're dealing with some heavier storms down there. Those are the storms that will track in our neck of the woods later tonight. Dew points right now, anytime dew points get near 60 or above 60, that's when it starts to feel a little bit humid. So in general, most of the Midwest Great Lakes region is a little bit humid, but definitely not unbearable. Future radar does show some spotty showers continuing to develop this evening, but I think over the next couple of hours, if you have any dinner plans, you should be dry over the next couple of hours until these spotty showers move through. It doesn't look to be widespread until later this evening around midnight or so, when some heavier rain will pass through, and then some light showers will just continue through the morning hours on Friday before glorious sunshine moves through the region, and around the evening hours and sunset, we're thankfully going to see mostly sunny, if not sunny skies across the region. Future temperatures show will cool down to 62 degrees tonight, as it will still be a little bit muggy outside as well. But with a north wind, tomorrow won't be that warm, at least compared to today and the past couple of days. We'll be around 64 to 67 degrees, and then we'll get pretty cold going into Saturday morning. But Saturday looks glorious with temperatures in the mid-70s with lots of sunshine, thankfully. And then by the time we get to Sunday, we'll start the day off in the lower 60s. So for tonight, we're expecting a low around 61 degrees with those widespread showers and storms, especially around midnight. But in the meantime, some spotty showers to contend with. Tomorrow will warm up to 66 degrees only, so a lot cooler than it was today with morning rain showers. Back to you guys.
I'm going to make sure to save all my free time for Sunday if it's going to rain and be chilly. I'll save it, or I'll put all my free time to Saturday.
Yes, absolutely. Because, gotta do that studying Sunday when it's cooler.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
no, I'm excited for these warmer temps coming up. Are you?
I am absolutely. I've been wearing shorts for the past couple of weeks. I'm ready to keep wearing them.
Yeah, I'm ready to put the pants to retirement for until winter and go shorts all the way. After the break, we'll see what went down with Valpo sports in the last week.
The Valpo men's baseball team has had an up and down month of April with its games. The Beacons lost to Belmont earlier in the month at home, and then the Beacons were able to bounce back the next day and defeat Belmont 10-9. The following day, in their third game, they unfortunately lost to Belmont again, 15-8. The Beacons then traveled on the road to Notre Dame, and they lost that game 7-6. Now advancing more into later in the month, the Beacons were able to win their game against Missouri State at home on April 19th, 7-6. Then proceeded to unfortunately lose 5 games in a row to Missouri State twice, Northern Illinois once, and UIC twice. The Beacons responded with an incredible 20-0 victory at UIC this past Sunday on the road. Then the Beacons unfortunately lost to Western Michigan 8-6 this past Tuesday. The Beacons will play this Friday at home against Evansville at 3 p.m. The game will not have any video streaming coverage. Switching over to our women's softball team here at Valpo, they've had a tough month of April as well. They lost to Illinois State earlier in the month, all 3 games they played, and then they lost to them 10-0, and then 8-3, and then 8-3 again. The Beacons are also had a tough month of April from April 19th and April 20th and the 27th also. The Beacons have lost to Missouri State 2 more times, to Northern Illinois twice, and to Missouri State twice. The Beacons had their games this past Sunday canceled due to unplayable field conditions. The Beacons lost to UIC this past Tuesday, and now the Beacons will play UNI tomorrow at home at 3 p.m. on ESPN+. We wish all the best to our Valpo men's baseball team, our women's softball teams, and all of us here at VUTV want to thank all of our sports teams for a memorable 2023-2024 season. On a very personal note, I want to say that it has been a joy, honor, and privilege having the opportunity to be the sports director here on VUTV. Outside of the weather, sports is one of my greatest passions, from the thrill of a touchdown being scored to the amazement I feel when a dunk happens. There is nothing like sports. It is an incredible avenue to come together, work as a team, and put on a show what truly makes sports remarkable. And it also shows that anything can happen, anyone can win, and anything is possible. Sports allows us to dream and have hopes and gives us a reason to celebrate. Covering sports, doing a sports show, and writing about sports and creating highlights is not easy, but as a wise man once told me, when you enjoy what you do, it does not feel like work or a job. That is exactly what this role has felt like to me. So from John Williams, I say thank you, and here's to the future.
Thank you, John. It's been an honor having you as a sports director here at VUTV.
I've absolutely enjoyed it. And so I'm excited for what the future holds for all of us. And, just like sports, things continue. And so I'm excited.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I agree with everything you said there. Great job. Coming up, Colton will have a final look at your 7-day forecast.
This weekend looks pretty nice after we get through some morning rain showers on Friday. Temperatures will get cooler briefly, warm up a lot on Saturday, and then cool down again on Sunday. And the next chance of decent rounds of rain and storms will be Monday and Tuesday of finals week.
Thanks, Colt. So, would you like to see a video from the underclassmen?
Not really, but sure. Oh boy.
Favorite memory definitely goes to Connor because I'll never forget that one newscast. I think it was spring semester freshman year. I don't even remember what the story was about, but Connor absolutely butchered the reporter's name. It was Mandy Gaither. He said mandatory gather, and I didn't realize we were having a mandatory gathering that day, but you know, that was definitely favorite memory. I'll never forget all of us kind of looking at each other like, did that just happen? And then all of us were on the floor as the package started rolling and Connor's face went bright red.
My favorite memory of Daniel is definitely when we went on the Eclipse trip together, and I was in the car with him, and we were just like vibing to the songs he put on.
My favorite memory of Kolton is this past year when I was doing live WSI for Mason and I didn't know what I was doing. And so I just started drawing cold fronts because there were no lines. And I tried to circle a tornado. And of course, Kolton, the weather director at the time, came in and his face was priceless in the way that he had to leave the room because he was laughing so hard. And that was, I don't think I've laughed so hard ever or seen him ever laugh so hard.
I think it would also be on the Eclipse trip when like his car arrived and he said to us that I think it was Duncan that messed up his order. I found that pretty funny.
One of my favorite memories in VUTV is when me and Daniel submitted our news packages into the IASB awards conference. I submitted a package on the Women's Soccer Championship. Go Beacons! They won the Valley Championship this year. And Daniel submitted a package that he did the previous year on the paintings in the Brower Museum of Art. So that was one of my favorite memories. Unfortunately, we didn't get in the top 3. However, it's always very, very nice to get your work out there and submit your packages into IASB because you never know what could be the result of that. So that was pretty fun.
My favorite memory of Keaton is when we anchored together, and I think we had trouble figuring out who needed to move their chair heights, if I had to move up or if he had to move down. And it was just kind of funny because we just kept, like, one of us would go like up and then I think the other one would go down, and it's like we couldn't really communicate that. And I think Daniel just was at one point just like, you know what, Zoe, lower your chair, Keaton, raise your chair. We need to get going.
I feel like my biggest thing that I've learned from Connor was definitely floor directing because I like just watched him do it when he was actually doing floor director, and if I had any questions, he would definitely answer them.
I've learned a lot from Keaton. He has definitely been very helpful when it came to anchoring for my first time or times after. Keaton has always stayed very calm and given a very professional manner across the news desk, and I have always looked up to that, and it was really helpful being able to see and watch him do it, and I got to learn that from him, and I'm really thankful for that.
Biggest thing I've learned from Daniel is he's a really hard worker. He always makes time for you, even if he's super busy, even if it's only like 5 to 10 minutes. He'll take the time out of your day just to sit down and talk with you, or even go do something with you, whether it's running to Founders real quick before his next class with you so you aren't eating alone, or inviting you over to the apartment just to get away for a little while.
I've learned from John to never take things too seriously. He always has like a smile on his face. He knows how to make everything like better. So if you're having like a really bad day, you just go to John and he'll just like tell you a joke or tell you about some sports stuff, and it always makes me smile. And then, like, he never really takes stuff seriously, even like the bad stuff. He always has a smile on his face.
Daniel has impacted me by helping me learn so much across the entire VUTV organization when it comes to equipment or anything about writing stories to just life in general. He's so supportive and very calm and will never judge you for anything, and I think that's made a really big impact and encouraged me to help build this organization.
Well, it's been quite the semester for me and quite the semester for him as well. So we really got closer this semester just because things haven't been going so great for the both of us. I'm definitely really proud of him for, even though things didn't go exactly to plan, he really toughed it out and got through it. Even though it wasn't what he wanted, he's done what he's had to do to get him through senior year, and I'm really proud of him for that.
I would say the biggest impact that a senior has made on me was probably Kolton Woods. I've been talking to him a lot about his internship that he had at Wood 8, the NBC affiliate up in Grand Rapids. It's made me want to look for internships in South Bend. Graduate Emmett Toomey now works there as well, and that's where Kolton Woods just got his first job as a meteorologist, so I wish him the very best of luck. I wish all the seniors best of luck. So he's really made me kind of think about internships moving forward in this business.
Connor has, I mean, I don't know Connor that well, but I did find when I was learning how to do, like, he really likes to do floor directing. So whenever I was out here on the floor, he was always there to like take me under his wing and like show me like the call signs, make sure I'm doing everything right. He always kind of did that little pull with cam 1 at the end of the shot, which I thought was really cool. So I think he really made VUTV just a little better for me.
Keaton was our lab aide with Weather Tech, and I guess he like just really helped with coding, so then I could actually help my friends with coding when they actually needed help too.
John is just a light. He brings such smiles to everybody here in VUTV, and specifically I love seeing John around campus when he says hi and waves to us. It makes me feel like this organization is more of closer of a family, and John just brings that out in all of us.
I would miss definitely the energy he brings. It's just very like, he's very outgoing once you actually get to know him, and I really like that about him.
Definitely gonna miss just all of the sports talks I've had with John. I don't know John as well as Colt or Daniel. But just the random sports conversations I have with John before the newscast, we'll both get going on something we're really passionate about. And then all of a sudden I have Zoe in my ear, if she's directing, telling me to tell John to get on the desk. And so we throw him up there with about 20 seconds to spare.
Gosh, what I'll miss the most is probably Kolton just being as funny as he possibly can be. Kolton is the person who likes to joke around and add a lot of humor to any newscast that we do. It just makes the whole work environment very fun, very friendly, and it gets all of us to be involved and on our feet. So I'm going to miss that, but I'm sure somebody's going to take over with bringing the humor and fun into our newscasts for sure.
Daniel has always been there for me, like when I've needed him work-wise. Like if I have a question or, you know, Premiere doesn't cooperate with me, I can just send him a text and he will kind of come running to help me out because I am not tech savvy. So I'll miss kind of having him there to like lift me up and help me out when I need it.
The thing I will miss most about Connor is just the professionalism and kindness that he brings to VUTV. He's always willing to bring up ideas even if we're in a tough situation. He never lets us down when it comes to any packages or stories. If he says he's going to do it, he's going to do it. And I think that's really important for an organization like ours, and it says a lot about him.
I will definitely miss Kolton's sense of humor. He has never once failed to make me laugh, and some days I feel like I really need that, and when he does, it always makes my day that much better.
Also gonna miss seeing Keaton just around campus, anywhere. Usually in the union or right before he's lab aiding for Met 130 Weather Tech, teaching all of the freshmen how to code, a class that I took, and not gonna lie, I don't remember a whole lot from it.
Wow. That video left me speechless. Yeah. Thank you everyone for watching VUTV. From all of us seniors and from all of us seniors here, we're gonna miss this place. This has been my home for 4 years, executive director for 3. Everyone everyone on this desk has been on the e-board, and we're all going to miss this excruciatingly. So thank you, everyone, for watching, and we won't see you next year, but you'll see them next year.